Hey guys, welcome to the video. Now today I've got something quite interesting, and it might be a new little series that I'm going to start, and I think I'm going to call it Let Me Render That For You. So what I've essentially done is I've been on the SketchUp Reddit page. Shout out all you guys on SketchUp Reddit. I know you guys watch my videos when I post them, and I really appreciate the support. It means a lot. So I put a post on the Reddit essentially saying, please send me your designs and your 3D models, so your SketchUp models, and I'm gonna render them out for you. So that's what I'm gonna do today. I've got a model sent in by a Reddit user, and I'm going to open it up, check it out, see what, if any, issues there are with the model itself, and just give it a little kind of a run through of everything in the model and make sure it's looking good. And then I'll probably add some elements to it, and then I'm going to produce some renders in Vray, create a nice little document and send it back to the Reddit user. But if you don't know who I am, my name's Jake. I'm a designer with a degree in product design, and I currently work as a freelance designer on a number of different projects. I've used SketchUp for about 10 years now. Love it as a program because it's very simple and easy to use. I also teach over on SkillShare, so if you want to check out some more comprehensive lessons, if you want to learn how to 3D model and you're a complete beginner, I've got really good classes over on my SkillShare. There'll be links down below to all of them, and you also get 1 month free, so check it out if you'd like. Let's take a look at this model and see what we can do with it, and see what we can produce. So here we have our model that we're going to be working with today. I've literally just opened it up. I had to get it saved down to a 2020 version to open it, because I think this was made in a newer version of SketchUp. But nevertheless, we've got it open, and it's a kitchen, which is cool. It's actually quite a nice model. Got some nice purple doors going on, which I think look cool. So the first thing I'm going to do is, it's a bit laggy when I move around the model. So the first thing I normally do is I just change the style in the default tray. I'm going to go to a fast modeling style, and I'll just go to default styles. I just normally use shaded with textures, and that's already kind of sped up my modeling, which makes life a lot easier. So I recommend that if you've got a model with a lot of geometry, especially things like these plants. These plants often kind of bulk down models due to the nature of having all these leaves and all these lines and all these elements. So if you change your layer style, your style within SketchUp, that will just speed up your modeling process, meaning that you're going to be a bit snappier and a bit quicker making adjustments. So right off the bat, I think it's really cool. This is a good model by the user. We don't have any windows or window frames, so I'm probably going to add that because adding like that, those kind of details really makes a difference to a final model. Also, we don't have a scene, so I'm probably going to use my kind of trick to create a view from this window. Assuming this is a window. I mean, it looks like a window. I don't think it's going to be anything else. So what I'll probably do is I'll create a scene outside here using an image and a few little techniques to make that look really cool, and we can kind of choose where in the world we want this kitchen to be. So it could be in a penthouse, it could be somewhere in nature. So I can see that everything seems to be built pretty well, everything seems to be grouped nicely. Now obviously these aren't, okay, so these drawers and cupboards aren't actually built for real, if that makes sense. They're kind of just a facade. And yeah, we do have a nice little gap there, so that's going to sharpen the rendering. Often people just draw like a line between, you know, units or doors or whatever, but when you actually come to render that, there's no kind of geometry to render that line. So what you essentially get is just the flat surface without any gap, because in real life, when you look at any of your doors or drawers or whatever, anything with a seam normally does have kind of a small gap in between it, so it's important to add this into your models. So this is good. I'm glad this is here. Let me just delete this line. One thing I do straight away is we've got a bit of this kind of, everything's a bit too perfect, so these chairs all lined up. So I tend to make things a little bit more random. So if I adjust them a little bit so they're not so perfect, because when you kind of import 3D models and when people place models, they always kind of leave things perfect, where in real life nothing's quite perfect. As I'm sure you guys are aware that nothing is perfect. But what that means is I'm just going to put, like, you know, some slight angles on these objects. You know, maybe this seat's been used. That was the last seat that's been used, so that's why it's kind of slightly out a bit more. And already that looks a bit more realistic, you know. This fruit bowl looks a bit, it looks a bit fake, so I'm probably going to replace that element with something from the Vray Chaos library. And I recommend you use that if you're going to use Vray and you have the Chaos library. There's some amazing assets in there which you can just drop into your model, which just bring it to life massively. So I'll probably replace that. These plants, I mean, they look okay, and we'll see when I start rendering. They look alright. They look alright. This clock's a bit, yeah, it's a bit jaggedy, so I might replace that as well. This picture, I'm not really sure what the significance of this is, but maybe that could be our view out of our window. The fridge, so this is just gonna be a standard model, probably from 3D Warehouse. Yeah, it looks fine. Now I'm not sure if this is supposed to be wood. It's kind of like this cream texture, so it looks a bit odd being cream, but let me just see if I can determine what it's gonna be based on the color. If the color's got a name like, you know, something paint, then I can assume it's supposed to be painted, but pebble gray. So yeah, it is an actual color. I guess the units are going to be that color. Let me check out this purple as well. So I'm going to assume these are probably going to be gloss. Now, one thing I've just noticed is there's actually nothing on the worktop. If you were doing like kind of real, like really real renders, you'd probably have something on the worktop. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm just going to double check that he hasn't hidden anything. Oh, okay, so these are hidden. So maybe these should be unhidden. And let's just see what he had here. See, I mean, that does look a bit more, you know, realistic. I'd probably, as I put it on the shelf, it's probably better on the shelf to be honest, but not a very good model. Yeah, I think that's a bit better. That's a bit neater. Okay, so that's kind of the problems I'm seeing. These plugs are good. Everything else seems okay. These lights are pretty cool models. They'll need all textures being done. And then I'm assuming this is probably like a door frame. So I'm probably just gonna build another wall here, just so if it comes into our shot in render, it doesn't look like just a big void. We have an actual door here, a wall here. But apart from that, I think it's a pretty strong model. So that's it. So what I'm gonna do is I'm basically gonna put in the windows, maybe add some more elements to the model, replace the fruit bowl. These chairs are quite good. These candles, I'm basically gonna add any elements I think will look better. I might add something around here in this kind of area, the cooking area, because there's no elements here. I'll sort out the colors and make sure all the Vray textures are correct, and then we'll run some renders. So I'm probably gonna throw to me on a time lapse now, and I'll probably commentate what I'm doing, so it's clear for you guys watching the video. So welcome to the time lapse section of this video. Like I mentioned, the first thing I did was actually add some windows to our model. I basically divided it into 3 on the main window, and then created like 2 smaller windows for the smaller window section. Now these are really simple windows. It's just basically an offset rectangle, and then I put glass on the inside, and then I just ran a really quick test render to make sure the materials were in place. Here I'm just kind of sorting out where my lighting is going to come from. Now I wanted the light to come through the window, so I actually adjusted the lighting a little bit and then made it do that. What I essentially am doing is going through all the materials, adding a slight reflective property, because basically in real life every single material you look at will have some reflectivity, and SketchUp and Vray doesn't normally apply that as standard. When you import a model or when you create a model, it won't have these properties. So here I'm just adding some chrome details to the tap and the sink. The sink I actually end up using this kind of stone texture. I think it matched the color of the worktop, and I think it looked pretty cool. I also applied a stainless steel texture to that extractor fan and the fridge. Now here I'm adding a drawer, because I thought it'd be cool to have a drawer kind of hanging out, you know, to make it imperfect again. You know, imperfect renders and imperfect geometry actually make for more realistic renders, because you want your renders to look real, and in real life nothing's perfect. Here I'm using the trick to create a view from the window. So this is basically, you create a texture and apply an emissive property to it. So you can see I've run a quick render here, and you can see the actual light kind of shining through. I also rounded off some of the edges within the model, because again, in real life, you don't get these straight 90-degree edges. Most things have a slight radius on them, so I just did that to the work surfaces. And then here I'm just adding some elements in from the Chaos library. I decided to then add some spotlights coming down from the unit, as this will kind of like lighten up the scene a little bit, and it just adds, you know, something a little bit more dynamic in the scene. Again, I just added some more elements from the Chaos library and then adjusted any materials I thought needed adjusting. Here I realized there's no handles on these cabinets and drawers, so I jumped into the 3D warehouse and found a handle, and then basically just applied that to the drawers, and I thought it actually looked pretty cool once I applied the chrome texture to these as well. So this is me just positioning the handles on the units and then running a quick render, and you can see it's looking pretty cool with the light shining in. I then wanted to add a photo onto this wall, and then here's me running some test renders, just playing with the lighting. I actually found the exact same stool in the Chaos library, so I thought I'd use the one from the Chaos library, obviously because it's going to have the materials applied to it already and it's going to look way better in Vray. So that's me replacing them there. And then I wanted to add a few more details to this wall, so I actually got rid of the clock on the right hand side and put it on the wall, and then chucked a plant in this corner because I thought it was looking a bit bare. I also added a door on that left hand side as well, and this kind of brickwork. I would like to add brickwork into my models because I think it gives it like a slight more sense of realism. I then actually opened that door a little bit as well. Again, playing on that idea of making it imperfect to make it look as good as possible. I add some skirting board, so that is important, another important thing. Yeah, this is kind of one of the renders, and here's me just testing out some lighting. But we got to the final renders, and here's what they look like. Today with the final renders, I think they turned out pretty cool. I wanted to go for the kind of like natural shots, and then I had a few more stylized shots towards the end of those renders that you probably saw, the ones with kind of like the defocus and kind of like arty shots. But I think, yeah, no, I think it turned out pretty well, and I'm happy with the results. But if you'd like me to render up any of your models, I'll put a link in the description of this video to my original Reddit post. And what you can do there is you can basically upload it to WeTransfer and then just post me the link, and I'll be able to download it and render it for you. Yeah, again, check out my Skillshare if you want to learn anything to do with 3D modeling, or you're looking to start 3D modeling and you're a complete beginner. I've got some really good classes on there that should help you on your way to designing in 3D. All those links will be down below as well. Apart from that, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you could subscribe to my channel, that would be really appreciated. Any likes would also be awesome, and any feedback as well. Drop me a comment, let me know what you thought. And yeah, I'll probably do another one of these episodes if I get someone to send me some models. So I hope you have a good day wherever you are, and I'll see you in the next video.